is talking about the mind. All right, I'm going to go into these precepts. Many times you will see in the Old Testament, the heart is talking about the mind. Usually in the New Testament, you'll see the great separation. But in certain scriptures in the Old Testament, you'll see them separated as well. But for the most part, it will refer to as the heart as the mind. All right. I want to go here to Mark chapter 2. I'm going to go down here to verse 8. And it says, and immediately when Christ perceived in his heart, in his spirit, that they so reason within themselves. Okay. He said unto them, why reason ye these things in your heart? I want to make sure that's KJV. All right. So verse 8. Immediately when Christ perceived in the spirit that they so reason within themselves, saying unto them, why reason ye these things in your heart? Right. These are things that they're perceiving in their mind. These are questions that they ask. Like, why are you reasoning within yourself? Because you can't speculate, contemplate, think with a heart, a muscle that pumps blood. Let's go here to Mark chapter 12. More instances, just cold cut, straight there and dry. Mark chapter 12, verse 30. This is Mark chapter 12, verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Right. So this is a interjection, because we know in Deuteronomy 6 and 5, which we'll go there, it doesn't say mind. It just says heart. This is Matthew chapter, one second, I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 22. I'm going to go down here to verse 37. All right, this is Matthew chapter 22, verse 37. Christ said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Right. So he reiterated this, but we go here to Deuteronomy. 6 and 5. We're going to start right here. We'll start at 4. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Right. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest down in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, when thou risest up. Right. So these things are going to be written in your heart so you can remember them. Right. So you can speak and teach your children. These things are in your mind. You remember things and contemplate things in your brain, your mind. Right. We're going to go and look further into this. Right. We're going to go to Luke. Chapter 5, verse 22. Once it loads up. All right, this is Luke chapter 5, verse 22. But when Christ perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, what reason ye in your hearts? Whether it is easier to say thy sin be forgiven thee, or to say rise up and walk. All right, so he's asking them again, why you think these things in your heart? Because it's in their mind. Let's go here, Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. Ye have heard that it was said by them out of old, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery in his heart. How do you see with your heart, or do you see with your brain or your mind? Do you think about you have to look at a woman and think what you'll do to her in your mind? Your heart is your mind. Let's go to chapter 9. Oh, no. Okay. There's just a lot going on right here. What's up? What's up, Bible Hub? Why do you do this? Okay. Sometimes Bible Hub has a mind of his own lately. All right. So lucky, Yasharella. So you're going to go right here. KJV. Verse 4. This is Matthew chapter 9, verse 4. And Christ, knowing their thoughts, said, wherefore think ye evil in your hearts? See, again, he says, knowing their thoughts. You think of something. Thought. When you have thought, it's in your mind. Right? He asked him, why do you think these things in your heart? Let's go deeper into this. Let's go to heart in the Old Testament. Let's start tackling this in the Old Testament. This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9, right? The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Right? I, the Lord, searcheth the heart. I try the reins, even to every man according to his ways and according to the fruits of his doing. So a man's ways is the things that he think of. He tries their reins. He tries the heart. Right? The heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? But let's see what that means. Let's try to get more understanding from it. All right. Let's go. James 4 and 8. This is James chapter 4 and 8. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. So you got to cleanse your heart, because when you sin, but believe in the Most High, even though you're doing wickedness, you're double-minded. That means your heart is not right. Right? How can you be double-minded when, if your heart is the reason why you're doing wickedness? Right? Let's go to Genesis in the Old Testament 6 and 5. All right, this is Genesis chapter 6 and 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Right? So the thoughts of man was evil continually coming from his heart. How can you think out of your heart? Right? We know this is talking about the mind. We're going to go deeper into why we believe this is the mind. Right? Boom. This is Genesis chapter 8, verse 21. All right. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake. For the imaginations of his heart How can you imagine something in your heart? Can you dream in your heart? For the imaginations of his heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more anything living, as I have done. So even the Most High said in his heart, in his mind, he's thinking that he won't do these things. And he's saying he won't punish man for the imaginations in his heart, because the Most High is imagining him saying this in himself, in his own heart. You see the double, how killed one bird with two stones. No, I killed two birds with one stone. I messed that up. Genesis, let's go Genesis 27 and 41. All right, this is Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. Esau hated Jacob because of his blessing, wherein his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, does comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Right? He thought of this in his mind and said, I'm going to do these. And then he told it to his mother. Right, let's go to some things that are way more cut, dry, literal. Quick cuts. Let's get to the quick cuts. 29. This is Deuteronomy 29, verse 19. The Lord will not spare him, but then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy shall smote again the man, and all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him. All right, what 19? Yeah, am I right? Yeah, here we go. Let's lock it. Verse 19. And it comes to pass when he heareth the words of his curse, that he bless himself in his heart. So he heard the words of his curse, he blessed himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of my heart, to add drunkenness to thirst. So he understands the imaginations of his heart. He's talking about his mind. He's speaking in his mind. All right, let's go to Job. Let's go to Job. It's too long. 8 and 10. Shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? How can you utter a word out of your heart if you don't think it? Whatever you think in your mind, you're going to utter out your mouth. So the heart is the mind. We're going to keep going. Let's see. Job 33 and 1. Job 33 and 1. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches and hearken unto all of my words. Right? Behold, now I have opened my mouth. My tongue have spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of a uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. So he's speaking the things that are in his mind, the uprightness that's in his mind. Proverbs 4 and 4. This is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 4. He taught me also and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words. Keep my commandments and live. So he's saying, let your heart retain my words. Your heart cannot retain the words of the Most High. Your mind can. Right? I'm going to get two scriptures. That's it. Go to Zephaniah. I think it might be Zechariah. This is Zephaniah chapter 7, verse 10. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. You imagine evil in your mind, right? Let's go to Revelations 18 and 7. Let's talk about Babylon, her imaginations, right? Revelations chapter 18, verse 7. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Right? So she said all these things in her heart. This is what she thinks in her mind. Right? So this your brother Aiden, y'all coming to you from H.O.I Atl with another quick cuts, letting you know that the heart is the mind. And with that, I bid you a